Hello again. I'm going to go through my phrases again and give you guys an idea of the basics that I use. I use the RM for remember. I use the final F for have, such as you have. I use you are for you are. I use you can, the final K for can. Final S is say for me, and then I use the Z for see. SZ is says. Final T is the for like what the. Final S, as I said, was say what or is, depending on what the phrase is. What is, it would be WHAS. What you say is WHAUS. Final DZ for me is said. What he said, etc. Final D is had. What you had, that you had, that kind of thing. So when I practice my phrases, I do what you have, what you are, what you remember, what you recall, what you can, what you say, what you see, what you had, what it is, what you have, what you are, what you remember, what you recall, what you can, what you say, what you see, what you had, what you said, WHAUDZ. I do RBLD for should, what you should, and I do RBL for what you shall. And that gives me a pretty good set of phrases to work with. You can also put that with that for the most part, or for when, and that gives you a pretty good phrase list to work off of. That you have, that you are, that you remember, that you recall, that you shall, that you should, that you can, that you say, that you see, that you had, that you said. And you can see right there you've got a whole nother family to work with the that phrases. And then with the when, WH, when you have, when you are, when you remember, when you recall, when you shall, when you should, when you can, when you say, when you see, when you had, when it is. And then you have, you can go with like whether phrases. WHR I use for whether. Whether you have, whether you are, whether you remember, whether you recall, whether you can, whether you shall, whether you should, whether you say, whether you had, whether you see, and stuff like that. It gives you again a whole lot of phrases to work with on the left side by using the same consistency on the right side with some phrases. And then on some of these phrases, for instance, that you have, you can put the S in front of it and have is that you have. And then is that you are, is that you can, is that you will, is that you remember, etc., etc. So a couple of thoughts on phrasing